Welcome back. Today we are going to briefly talk about consciousness and sex. And briefly, before we begin that lecture, lecture 6, let me first briefly go over what we have talked about last lecture, lecture 5. Lecture 5, we talk about the language, how language can be very complex, and 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 the problem about language is that when you're speaking or using a language, you are basically using energy which are called consciousness. So when you stop talking at all, perhaps it doesn't mean that you stop talking, but still there's an internal self-talk goes on with your thinking. So even though you're sitting quietly a place, still there's a lot of thoughts going on in your brain, and that's what they call self-talk. Basically 70% of those self-talk is negative. So just imagine you bombarding a lot of negative to yourself or to others, and that causes really bad, negative energy. So the meditation, basically what it does is that it helps you to slow down these thoughts, because you are thinking because of the energy. Is for instance, for example, if you have a flashlight and if it doesn't have a battery, there's no way you can have a light. So when you put a battery, basically you have energy, and then you have a light. So the energy creates the light in a flashlight. So the thoughts and the consciousness is the same thing. So when you have a consciousness, which you can call spirit, God, awareness, or subconsciousness, or mindfulness, whatever, but I call energy. The energy that you have, basically, it uses your thoughts, because your intention creates your thoughts, your reality of your consciousness, the reality of your structure of your thoughts. So the energy that you use in your thoughts is what we are trying to discover more. We're trying to discover that energy which creates everything basically about you. It creates your body, your brain, your language, your thoughts, all these things. So that's why language is really is a very good tool to communicate, to articulate yourself, what you want to say, or whatever you're doing, or whatever job you're doing is very effective. Having a relation with people, because you're able to convert your ideas, your philosophy, or whatever, to others. If you want to explain something to others. So the language is a tool that creates a society or culture. So therefore we're able to communicate with each other, to understand each other. But on the other hand, what I'm trying to discuss here and trying to convey here is that, the language creates a system, a structure, and this structure has a network, and this network has relationships. So therefore, any ideological system that has been created is a man-made. So therefore, it's not something very, it's not a real, is something that we create, is man-made. So when you want to discover your energy, therefore, you need to stop this language, these tools, because these tools, even though you're not speaking, you're sitting down and meditating, still there's a thoughts moving in your brain, right? Because the brain, basically, its job is just to create a thoughts, because the cells of your brains, there's a billion cells in your brain, And what they do basically is that they creating all these connections, and all these connections creates thoughts and images, and you see how confusion can be if you're not able to stop, because you're consuming tremendous energy, you're consuming tremendous consciousness energy in your thoughts. So therefore meditation will enable you to slow down all these connections of your cells, your brains, which creates all kind of thoughts, and you're able to experience the energy behind these thoughts, because the thoughts cannot be created by itself, because it has to be energy creating these thoughts. So what we're trying to discover is that to find the energy which creates the thoughts. So therefore meditation will help us to slow down and then transcend these thoughts, and then experience the consciousness. And once you experience the consciousness, then basically you understand that what you have been going through all along. Because not having this experience, non-mind, and you have been with the mind, with your thoughts all the time, you're not able to experience this consciousness. It's like someone have a schizophrenic. Schizophrenic people, they usually they think they're living they think they are in reality, even though they're talking about this all kind of nonsense stuff, and they think that what they're saying, or perhaps what they are going through, or is reality. But in fact, we know that is not reality. It is their own illusion or delusion or paranoia or whatever they're going through. It is own reality, but it doesn't reflect the reality that we're living. You see? So once the person medicated or is being given drugs, something like that, it comes back to the reality, and therefore he will know that he was not really, he was delusionated, his thoughts, he was not functioning properly. So that's what I was saying, that's what I'm trying to convey to you. Now you are with the mind, you're confused with your thoughts, you think that you're reliving reality, but when you transcend your thoughts, basically you know, you will become aware that you're not really in reality. You were just living in real world, the world of thoughts. So that's million people living that, because that's the nature in Western culture. So hopefully I will able to you to understand about what I'm trying to convey to you. But we run out of time right now. I was trying briefly discuss with you with the consciousness and the sex energy. So the sex energy and the consciousness, there's no different at all. Sex energy is basically is a glimpse of what meditation will reveal to you later on after long years or long hours of meditation. If we didn't have the experience of sex, of the orgasm, basically you won't know there's another dimension of reality that exists beside the reality that we're living in, because this orgasm or energy basically is the indication of you can transcend the sex, and then you move this dimension of orgasm, this dimension of a higher consciousness. You see what I mean? So the consciousness, a sex energy, is the same thing. It's just an energy which transforms itself in different forms, in different shapes, in different reality, in different dimension. In Western culture, we tend to be obsessed with sex because this really makes you feel good, and this energy, and you become very obsessed. It's the same thing. When you go through a meditation, for many years of meditation, you move in this dimension, you glimpse this dimension, and then you become very obsessed itself too, because that's what had happened to me and other people who have experienced who have experienced about this dimension of reality of the consciousness. The next time I will explain more about the consciousness and energy.